Let's go to the phones. I do believe we might have Brother Albert on the line. Is that you, Brother Albert?
That's me, Brother Bob. How are you?
Oh, wow! I'm much better now that we're chatting.
Oh my goodness! $11,000 fine? Really?
Yeah.
That's outrageous. That's so ridiculous.
I think $1,000 of the fine was because they had one tank labeled glycerin, but it turned out to be full of methylcyclohexane methanol instead.
So if they would have changed the sticker on it, they wouldn't even have that.
Right.
See, if they would have had two 50-pound bags of kitty litter, they probably could have cut that even in half.
Yeah, don't. I get, and that's the lesson. Don't scrimp on the tidy cat.
Oh, sick, and depraved. And the silver lining, of course, for that news report was, how people are going to start actively voting against climate change deniers. I mean, I can't wait to see it. I hope that turns out to be true. I know it's true in my life. I know it's true to everyone else who's probably listening. How could you ever vote for? I mean, Dana Rohrabacher, he's just a reprehensible idiot. I mean, he's not the worst of the worst, but he's certainly someone I could never vote for.
Do I remember? Was he part of the hunting of the presidential penis back during the Clinton years? I think he was.
Yes, sir. Yes, he was. He was deep in it. I think I've only heard that guy say something I've agreed with maybe twice. He's not even. He's one of those.
What did he tell the time or something? Yeah.
Yeah, but the arms fell off, so it's almost like psychological projection when you see hands on him.
Strong the stupid is with this one.
Oh, for real. He's he's like with ISA. I don't know what's up with California. They got some real special ones out there. I mean, Darrell Issa, that guy is just.
There's this little. It's almost like a redoubt or something. This little tiny enclave of weirdo right-wingers, and they've all been pushed into one little, otherwise lovely corner of California, where they keep sending Dana Rohrabacher and Darrell Issa to Congress.
And I mean, they have. It's the movement is visible. I mean, these people that are to the right, just like the glaciers have retreated. It's so obvious to just, if you sit there and just even do a flip test, you can see this movement. They're so far to the right, I don't even understand how they think they're going to get anywhere. I mean, look, what, 86 filibusters for President Obama, right?
Yeah.
And just the nominations, with 82 for all presidential candidates. All presidents before him. What? Come on. He might not be your favorite guy, but at least give us a reason. A better reason than.
No, but they've made it plain what their reason is, Brother Al.
Yeah, we know. Well,
he's a non-traditional president.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And I remember the days when you could actually almost have a conversation with these people, and that would be a nice thing. But I said it before, and I'm a broken record about it. But the mask is off; they don't know it, and there's no hope to even getting it back on, even if they did know it. The horns have grown, the tusks are sharper. The warts have grown. I mean, they're just ugly. They're so ugly. It's not even. And so the only thing that we can imagine is that they'll burn themselves out. Voters won't be as enthusiastic. There's only so many, rolling coal truckers out there in the world, and if they roll coal on me, that's going to be one less truck on the road. I promise you that.
And that's not necessarily speculative, though, is it? I mean, there where you are in your undisclosed location, in your secret Sage of Southwest Wisconsin bunker, you've actually got co-rollers, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I saw them the other day. I was on a nice little bike ride, and I had to go in and look and see if I could spot them, and I could spot them a mile away. and nothing intimidating at all. And if he was to assault me with that truck, I've got the license plate. I know what it looks like, and I'll find it. There's not that many homes in this area, and I've got a bike, so I'll silently creep up on him. And I'm telling you, if anybody does that to you, I think Dawn in the gas tank is viable. Clean up their act, you know. You know, clean them up. Little Dawn go a long way. It's only $2.50. You can put it in your pocket almost. You can get one of those little hand ones. You know, it's not going to take much Dawn to emulsify diesel.
You know,
I mean, for real.
When I think of that word emulsify, Brother Albert, you know, the first thing I think of is mayonnaise, because mayonnaise is a classic emulsification. You slowly but surely work some oil into some eggs and lemon juice, and next thing you know, you've got a semi-solid gel. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Diesel mayonnaise.
Diesel mayonnaise.
delicious on fried taters.
Lavender scented.
Morning
with OxyBoost.
Yeah, morning fresh.
Spring Meadow. I'm for real. I mean, I'm serious. My bike, I got a little pocket back there. I usually keep a wallet, but I can go get a little thing of Dawn. I mean, you know, if anyone's ever seen these videos of these people, you know, riding a bike up a real steep hill or a mountain, and these guys just going blasting them. It's disgusting, and they're laughing about it. But that's an assault. They think it's funny. I mean, if you've ever ridden a bike up a hill, you don't realize how hard that is. It's a very difficult thing. And the only thing you're thinking is pedal, 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 pedal. And all of a sudden, you hear this guy come out, and then he blows this giant 20-foot cloud of black smoke you can't even see through. And you're breathing heavy. Your cardio's up. That's outrageous. That is just, you know, and then, of course, they run away. You know? I mean, if you're going to assault me, at least, you know, stay your ground. Tough guy.
Well, and
you know?
Right, but in conjunction with
get
this,
out of the truck and smack me. I'm out of breath. You'll have an advantage.
But in conjunction with this, for instance, Robert in Australia just wrote in, Brother Albert, and said, "Why isn't rolling coal illegal? Does it not violate air pollution laws?" It is illegal.
Yeah.
It does violate air pollution laws. But the thing is, the right wing have gotten their way left, right, and upside down and sideways for God knows how long now. I mean, look, we ran away from a bunch, we the people, you know, the government of the United States, we ran away from a bunch of gunned up yahoos in Boogerville, Nevada. We're letting riotous right wingers assault buses full of children from other countries in Marietta, California.
Yeah, for a bill that Bush had signed.
And for something around more than 4 years now, the government has stood idly by while these people performed vehicular assaults on other human beings.
Yep.
And I still, and I'm not saying I want to see this happen. I want to make that abundantly clear, Brother Albert. But I still want to see what happens when one of these coal rollers runs up against one of these ground standers, and the back glass of the coal roller winds up getting blown out, and somebody gets killed. Because that is the America that the NRA and the right wing and the baggers and the birchers and the deathers and the tenters and the booger eaters have created. Not are creating, have created. It exists right now.
Yeah, I mean, since when is it only liberals to ride bikes? I mean, you know, I'm sure there's conservative bike riders out there, and they got their gun because they're paranoid that, you know, oh, what if I run into a cougar or would escape mountain lion or something?
Or
you know, everybody's got a justification. Oh, you know, I'm entitled to, like you were saying, I'm entitled to self-defense. What if I run into a gang? MS-13 and Mexicans, you know, they always have some valid, you know, some justification for their paranoia. But, you know, well, yeah, you're right. I mean, when that starts happening, they start shooting each other. Oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, though, I'm for real. I mean, I won't hurt nobody, but unless they get out of the truck. But, it's gone in the tank, at least. Maybe even if I got to release, my bodily functions, that smokestack in the back of that truck is pretty big. I'm sure you could sit back there comfortably with a newspaper for a few minutes,
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if you're eating, but, what would you do? Oh, don't put me down here. No.
And
sorry.
And here's the worst part of it, and I want to make it clear that as I kind of did earlier, Brother Albert. What about these poor young fools like I forget where the kid was that that was quoted in the first story we did about this. The kid, well, you put a lot into your truck, and your truck is your sense of self-esteem.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, you've got to. They gather together, do it, because young males. Let's be candid here. Young males can be really not terribly bright, even when they are. They just have lapses in brightness.
Yeah, can't be helped.
And so they'll do things like sitting by the exhaust of a coal roller and deliberately getting their faces blacked with this vile, toxic filth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw video of that, and my heart just broke.
Yes.
Because somebody loves that young person.
You know what their rationale is, though? And you hear them try to justify, well, it's not that toxic to go lands right on the ground. I'm not making it up. I read the comments all the time.
Yeah.
The
rain
that makes it okay.
Rain comes along, just washes it away.
That's right. Okay.
The rain hits it, and all that all those toxins just dissolve up into the moronosphere.
Water? You mean like in the toilet? I mean, that has to be the mentality. It has to be the mentality. Water? What for? I never seen no plants going in no toilet. And
well, that's because toxic diesel fumes have what plants crave.
Oh goodness!
Electrolytes.
Oh my goodness! But I still believe there's massive silver linings. I believe the rays are coming out. I believe it's because we're talking coal, right? China. This is what I do like about China. China, by 2020, 6 years, will have 20% of their energy from solar. 6 years. Oh, no, yeah. 6 years.
Yeah.
20%. They've already surpassed Germany. You realize that?
Oh, yeah.
Solar, right now, heck, I was impressed when I heard
that might, just doing that might cut their dead workers per day number down from, 700 to 650.
Maybe. But it's the thing is I think with solar, the more you develop, the cheaper it becomes. The cheaper it becomes, the more you develop. The more you develop, the cheaper it becomes. It's a good kind of addiction because you eventually, right now, it's too cheap to not implement. 58 cents a watt. All right, when we first started talking about this, Brother Bob, years and years ago, it was nowhere near that. It was $1.70 a watt. And coal, of course, with the extenuated costs of coal not factored in, costs $1 a watt. So solar and wind have been, for a while now, cheaper than coal. And more people, more and more, even government politicians and more governments around the world, we're headed into an El Nino, period. We're 70% of the way there. And I was, every Monday, the National Oceanographic Bubble NOAA, right? They post their PDF report on, El Nino conditions. Don't believe me? Go look. Go look at the data. It's all right there. If you go look at what an El Nino looked like in 1998 and 2006, we had one, or it's been a while. Whenever we had one, last time we had one. Look at what it looks like, and then you look at what it looks like right now. It's an El Nino. It's coming. It's not 100% yet, but it's here. of course it's here. And who knows how big this one's going to get, because the oceans are now warmer. There's more heat energy in them than there was in 1998.
Oh, and by the way, so, how much fun has the typhoon that I can't pronounce in Japan generated so far?
It's pretty big.
It's right here.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. 400 kilometers or something. Super typhoon, actually. Yeah, so it's not even a typhoon anymore. It's now a super typhoon, and it's not, they're saying it's not going to be as bad as Haiyan, and it's going to hit Okinawa, and, well, great. It's just, the thing is when we see El Niños, what we start seeing now. We're going to start seeing them kind of storms hit California, which, granted, they do need some water, but they're going to get more water than they really, I think, they can handle, especially with all these just relentless years where they're having wildfires in the winter and wildfires in the spring and wildfires in the fall, and summer is just too goddamn hot to fire, so it doesn't come in the summer. It's like ridiculous over there. They've been on what, how many year drought now? You see those pictures of those lakes?
That's what those are?
I don't know.
Or used to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, used to be within a few years that these lakes are gone. They were. I was just reading an article where they were auctioning off the last water rights or something for like millions of dollars or something ridiculous like that. Get your water here. Get your water. I think we're better than that. I do. I think we're in big trouble. But the trouble's good because the trouble's the only way we're going to actually learn anything. So, we'll see. Solar being as cheap as it is, it's becoming ubiquitous. I was right in my let me explain real quick. In my little nook in Wisconsin, I after the coal roller, right? And this actually kind of calmed me down a little. I'm still pissed off about coal roller. And if they ever do that to me, there will be things done. I promise. I'll go to jail for it. I don't care. That's where I'm at with it. You assault me like that. God forbid if my son is in my little buggy on the bike. You expose my son to that filth? Really? What would you do if someone did that to your child, your baby? You've seen little baby Leto? Oh, my goodness, how gorgeous. I'll post a picture for everybody so they can see you. All right, he deserves that. Right? Right? No.
Well, it wouldn't happen to him if you didn't support that Kenyan Muslim socialist anti-colonialist with a deep-seated hatred of white people. We're just trying to make a better non-job killing world for him to grow up in and be a good prole.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck getting to that future, because your truck ain't going to run, I promise.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that a new genre of humor has just been invented in the chat room, Brother Albert. Yeah, what did one coal roller say to the other? I'm a goddamn dumbass, too.
Woo-hoo!
And my favorite remains from the clip I played last night. One of the early comments in the thread on the YouTube account is, "Well, they probably wouldn't have done that to her if she hadn't been dressed like a slutty person."
Yeah.
And see, that's what we're seeing here, Brother Albert. All these right-wing tropes are beginning to overlap. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you took the clothespin and the playing card and you put it in the spokes of your bicycle and it went. Well, they're beginning to it's like riffling the cards when shuffling it. Yeah, it's happening. We're watching it happen. So you get vicious sexism wrapped in with environmental toxification. They're going, and I know you and the Horn family commune congregation know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. They are going for the unified field theory of booger eatery.
No doubt. If we're talking vehicles, they're building ideology the way GM builds transmissions and computer programs to run those things, and we're building a future that's like a Tesla, and it's made out of aerospace-grade bolts. It breaks the machine that tries to flip the car. It wins every award ever conceived of, and it's the first car they ever really built.
I noticed a little something going down in Southern California in the wee early morning hours of July the 4th.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Some idiot broke into a Tesla dealership and stole a Tesla and proceeded to lead police on a high-speed chase. And eventually wrecked the car. The car burst into flames and broke in half, and the back half of the Tesla wound up lodged between the walls of a Jewish synagogue.
Yeah, that was crazy how that, if you haven't seen that, look at it.
Yeah, it was. How did that, physics,
How did you fit that into that space? What?
But the upshot of it was, and this was in all the reportage, the Tesla immediately broke into a conflagration of flames, as if to say that some gasoline engine-powered automobile, wouldn't.
Yeah, I saw the fire. It was nothing. It was two little pockets of fire, and the batteries would whiz off, and they'd be like jumping jacks for a little bit. No big deal. It really wasn't. The guy was doing 100 miles an hour, by the way, and probably over that. He was going so fast, the police got into a little wreck, and they stopped chasing him.
Right.
And it was about 3 or 4 miles down the road where he did, and I think the real crazy key of the story, he lived. The car was ripped in half, and he lived, which is nuts. I think that's a testimony to how safe they build that thing. The car was ripped in half, but he lived. And I'll tell you what, I don't know. I hope if I ever get into an accident, I hope I don't get in an accident like that, but if I ever get into an accident where my car's ripped in half, I hope I live, unless I stole it and stuff. But the other thing is, why didn't the police just hit the button and shut the Tesla off? Okay, never mind. Yeah, they wanted to get their adrenaline.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Get my fix.
Yeah.
Tesla's, to me, I know I've been calling on them for years, and it's really nice. It's nice to see the share price. That's a beautiful thing. It's nice to see everyone really kind of jumping on board.
Hey, Brother Albert, for some reason we are having a terrible, terrible breakup issue. I don't know if you're out of range of something or what, but
you hear me? You got me? Got me?
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah, much.
Better? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just saying how excited I am to see people, average people that don't really know anything about these things, getting excited and saying, I would own one of these. And this is now, we're sitting here, by the time the Model E is released, which is, basically the same as the Model S for everyone who's familiar with it. You might not be familiar with the E, so, the Model S and the E are going to look exactly the same, except the E is going to be a lot cheaper and shorter. Like basically the difference between a BMW 5 Series and a BMW 3 Series. So it's going to look the same, just a little bit smaller, and it's going to be far more affordable. Now we have the supercharger network going up, and by the time the E is available for purchase, they're going to be covering, those supercharger stations will cover 98% of the population in not just America, but the entire continent of North America. With Elon Musk opening up the patents the way he did, which is something I really want to call it. I don't know, a little late though, does keep me very busy. I'm just lucky right now that I'm shopping. But, when he opened up those patents, Elon Musk is a friggin' genius. And I think we can all admit that. He's certainly a genius. He knows that, he had the best technology, right?
Right.
He knew that he wanted to make us, he cares more about changing our path than he does about making money. The guy knows he's got enough money. The guy's billions and billions of dollars. He makes rockets, 200-foot tall rockets that can launch, stop in midair, and then land where they came. They launched from. And if nobody's seen the Falcon 9 rocket, just Google Falcon 9, 1,000 meters, and watching rockets.
It's very cool.
Blows your mind. And how is that built? How is that engine built? With 3D printing. This man is, I love Elon Musk, so back off. He's mine.
Little man crush going on, Brother Albert.
Oh, I love this man. How do you not? I wish all CEOs would behave 10% of the way he does. Hey, I've got enough money. I paid off my loan. He paid off the loan 9 years ahead of time. If you look at everything that man touches, is gold pressed platinum. It's not even, it's crazy. And I love that man. I wish that everybody, CEOs and people like him would step up and do the things that he's doing. He single-handedly built the electric car market, just like Mercedes did when they built their cars. And then they,
that raises a perhaps more esoteric topic, but you've opened the door, and that is the difference between those of us who aren't booger-eating right-wingers and what the booger-eating right-wingers therefore think we are.
Mm-hmm.
They look at us and they see, we've all got those big old shaggy Karl Marx beards. Okay.
Well, in the winter I do.
Yeah. But what we are, nobody's out there hollering, to the barricades, or pull the tumbrel out of the garage, shining up the guillotine, we're coming for them. Nobody's doing that.
Nope.
The people that qualify as members of the left, the wholly ineffective left,
the herd of cats known as the left.
Yeah. You know what we are? We're people who would like for America to be what America was promised to us it would be.
Amen.
Because, if you were born 10 years before me, you're 61 years old. If you were born 20 years before me, you're 71 years old. If you were born 30 years before me, you're 81 years old. And 30 years before me is 1933. Okay? What's happening in 1933 in the United States? Well, Social Security is on the way. Okay? The National Labor Relations Act that guarantees the right of working people to organize is on the way. A lot of
regulations.
So there's just not a whole lot of people left on this planet who remember the brutal days of America's nightmare capitalist past, and we still live in a nightmare capitalist present. But certain promises were made from 1933 forward. And it's not some sort of communist fantasy land.
No.
We're not a moment. The right wing thinks we are, Brother Albert, but we're not. We're not a moment away from the dictatorship of the proletariat.
No, not at all.
I was thinking. Mussolini. Godzilla from Wasilla, and I hate to even mention her. But she started typing with one finger again in the last day or so, and she was she was talking about the incorrigibly disastrous, and what a phrase, Obama administration. And then I guess yesterday or today she said something about how he's been so lawless that if this doesn't qualify Benghazi for impeachment, that nothing does. And I'm thinking, we're not even living in the same solar system, sister.
Seriously, it's a different dimension.
Because to her, well, I mean, I don't even want to talk about to her, but the right wing has this vision that life is simply not going to be worth living if people can go to the doctor when they're sick. Life won't be worth living if we're not burning hydrocarbons for fuel. Life won't be worth living if everybody isn't pointing a gun at everybody else. Okay, see, none of those are the promises that were made from 1933 to the present. We were promised things that are entirely different from that. And from time to time, we've been on a path toward it, but starting about 1982, long about January, somebody jumped on the damn brakes and burnt the tires down to the rims. And so the world we want is actually the world that we understand America to be.
Yeah.
Whereas what they want is, they won't admit it, but they'd like to go back to slavery. I mean,
they want it all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
Because money.
Oh, I like money. Oh, I like money though. You know, I mean, and
how far are we from Monday Night Rehabilitation, Brother Al?
I think we're really far from it. I don't think they're going to win. I think we outnumber them. I think logic and reason will prevail. I think I sum up essentially what you just said with what future. I say this to everybody. I don't care if it's a cashier. Like, I buy a Powerball ticket. Absolutely. Why? Because, my goodness, there's a lot of things that, we've talked about over the years, and, well, some of these things that I would love to see be done, that costs money. I can't do it. I can't just do it with my mouth, I'd love to be able to just, talk and have it manifest, but these things don't happen. So, and there's no way I'm going to ever get a job to make that kind of money, so I play the dream. Yeah, a couple bucks, it's all right. And the person asks me, I get my Powerball ticket and the Mega Millions, and they say, is that all? I'm like, what else do I need? $120 million, that's plenty, isn't it? And they go, well, yeah, it is, isn't it? And I go, well, they say you got big plans for it. I go, yes, I do. And then they say, oh, that's nice. I'm like, well, what future do you want? Mad Max or Star Trek?
It really is that clear, isn't it?
It is that clear. And everyone kind of goes, whoa, yeah, I'll take Star Trek, please. I mean, I've asked that question close to 1,000 times, at least, to just strangers. And I've had maybe 3 tell me, Mad Max. So we're winning. No one wants Mad Max. Anyone with a freaking brain doesn't want Mad Max. Yeah, let's eat each other and then, big shit for fuel. No, thank you. No, thank you, Atomic Wasteland. It might be a fun video game, but let's live Star Trek. Because that's the other thing. Star Trek games are never fun. So, so Mad Max games are fun.
Whoa.
Is there a good Star Trek game?
There was an awesome Star Trek game a lot of years ago. I mean, a lot of years ago. Okay. I think I was playing it on a 486.
Okay.
Or maybe one of the first Pentiums.
Back when 6 megs of RAM were $2,000.
Right. Yeah. But no, it shipped on a couple of CDs. It did not ship on a DVD. Mm-hmm. And it was called Klingon Honor Guard.
Oh, okay.
And it was a first person shooter, but my God, it was fun. Because it had. There
you go, but
no, not a lot of other fun Star Trek games.
I'm saying, though.
No, I do.
Compared to Wasteland, there's a bunch of games out there that they're fun to play in, true, but no one wants to live there.
Right. And the thing is, you turn off the Wasteland game, and there's never a part of the Wasteland game where you go home to dinner.
Exactly.
I saw Ferg playing one the other day. Ferg and Margie were playing it. And, just everybody was bullet bait. And, you ran off and you stole an airplane and then you crashed it and you parachuted and you were back in the same shit soup. You were shooting at everybody and everybody was shooting at you. Now, you know what? Now, admittedly, that is the NRA wet dream, Brother Albert.
Mm-hmm. Till they're in it.
Right, and the thing is, you got to understand, your NRA gun goobs, they're going to be your shoot 'em in the back types.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're not, it's not going to be wah, 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 and standing there and no, they're going to, your NRA types are going to wait in ambush and shoot somebody in the back.
Out honor right now with the mediocre rules we have. Once the rules are gone, just to stop them. Yeah. They don't have honor. It's not honor to take a goddamn AK-47.
Oh, I'm losing you again, Albert.
Everybody. That's boring. That is absolutely. I just wanted to discuss about guns. Right now we're kind of we're rolling back again to that. And these are constant issues.
You're falling apart again, Albert.
Am I? Is that better? Oh, goodness gracious, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta hold your arm up and stand on one leg.
Yeah. I'm on one leg. I'm gonna just get some foil, I think, in a second. Is that better?
For now.
Okay, I just wanted to say how that SEAL, Mr. SEAL guy, the government put the Second Amendment in for tyranny. They could foresee it happening. That's the biggest lump of crap I've ever heard in my life. And anyone who's under that illusion is...
Look, the Second Amendment exists for two reasons. Okay, maybe three.
Mm-hmm.
The first reason the Second Amendment exists is because the Southerners wanted to clothe runaway slave hunters in the mantle of state authority.
Yep.
And really, that's
militias.
First and foremost.
Yep.
Second is that in the frontier areas of the United States, the approach to dealing with the indigenous peoples who had been here for tens of thousands of years was to kill them.
Yes.
So the first two legs of the Second Amendment are slavery and genocide.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is, God almighty, if the British ever decide they want to take us over, we're screwed.
Yep.
And you know what? As well regulated as the militia could have been, we did have that little dust-up 200 years ago called the War of 1812. Now, nobody may have noticed, but with a couple of notable exceptions, we got our asses handed to us. That well-regulated militia and all them freedom-protecting guns were about as useless against the British as say, a 9mm Glock is going to be against a hovering
drone
or helicopter or
one
of those what is it, anti-IED South African designed personnel carriers with the sort of cement mixer bottom. Utterly useless.
Or granulated sarin in our water supply.
Yeah. Shoot them by the molecule, boys. Don't shoot until you see their nuclei.
Yeah. But take a shower first. Clump, clump, clump. And then they come in. Hey, Greg, are you okay? Greg, you've been in there for a while. They don't understand. They have no idea what kind of death can be unleashed by the U.S. military. Arsenal.
But not only that, Brother Albert, they have no sense of historical perspective. I have stood on the corner of 2nd and Constitution in Washington, D.C., by it is now the National, and I've mentioned this before, the National Women's Voting Rights Museum. Before it was ever that, it was the Albert Gallatin House. And Albert Gallatin was a resident of Washington, D.C. It's one of the oldest standing houses in D.C., and it was one of the only houses in D.C. and the only things in D.C. that the Royal Army did not burn to a cinder. Okay? British troops were standing in the White House throwing furniture out on the lawn saying, let's burn this too, mate. Yeah. What? Well, okay, they sound kind of Australian there. I apologize. But this will burn. I don't know. And I can see like the great grandpappy of Keith Moon throwing a desk out the second floor window of the White House, saying, "I forgot to throw out the desk." But everything burned. We were utterly hopeless. We were absolutely powerless against it. I mean, you know, I'm sure, why the White House is the White House. Prior to 1812, it had not been the White House. It was the presidential, well, it wasn't fully finished, I guess, but it was the presidential residence, and it was painted like, beige.
Yeah.
So they burned it, and the burning was so bad that it took so much whitewash to cover up the scorch marks that the young government didn't have enough money to buy paint. And so we left it white. I mean, you want to talk about pathetic?
Yes, sir.
We were defenseless, and the only real victory we get is after the Treaty of Ghent is already signed, and Andrew Jackson, who had a taste for slaughter, wiped out a British army down around New Orleans.
Yep. Yeah, after the bell. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, and they live in, you know, well, do it, Bob. Wolverine!
Yeah, there you go.
You know, they have this fantasy land where, you know, I mean, heck, they want to be able to, you know, carry guns. I mean, look, I mean, how do you not see them unhinged? I mean, my God, in Georgistan, they're friggin' bringing guns into bars. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Churches.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Parks.
Yeah, schools. You know, bars and schools. Let's just make it all one, right? That way, I can have a drink and make sure my kids are safe.
They can do their ciphering.
I mean, you know,
and there's layers upon layers upon layers of this stuff, of the degree to which they are not screwed into reality.
No, sir.
I mean, it's laughable.
The future is ours. It always has been. It always will be. Sometimes it's really hard for us to look over that hill, you know, to look over the horizon. But we have to remember, we always win. We always win. Always.
I mean,
we're always going to step forward. It's not going to be maybe as fast as we like, but we'll win. There's no doubt in my mind.
And I have to share this with you, though. We have a new Get a Brain Moran's poster girl. Are you aware of this?
Oh, yeah, I saw her. Oh, I'm so happy that she
from
did
West
that.
Virginia.
Good. Oh, yeah. I'm shocked. To find that gambling is going on in here.
Yeah, stop it. So she's this right-wing fundy woman with a couple of little kids, and I guess she's married to some veteran of something or another, and she's a Bible-believing, Christian, God-fearing, Republican, teabagging, you know, what have you. So she thought it would be fun. Dr. John turned me on to this in my email this morning. She thought it would be just Jim Dandy good fun, Brother Albert, for her to go and she got her a cup from the Chick-fil-A, and she wore her pink pro-life T-shirt, and she took a picture of herself. First, let's take a selfie, and she took it in front of the Hobby Lobby down on Corridor G in south of Charleston. And she's so proud of herself because she's using her lizard brain. And then everybody, but just sort of in a perverse right-wing take on Steve Goodman's classic, "You Never Even Call Me By My Name." You remember where David Allan Coe says, "I wrote to my buddy Steve Goodman, and I said, I have written the perfect country and western song." And he wrote back to me and said, "No, you haven't, because you haven't mentioned mama or trains or drinking or jail." And I realized he was right. So everybody said, no, what you need to do now is you need a picture of you in front of the Merkin flag with your Second Amendment Wolverines Freedom Protector and the Holy Bible. And because the goddess of irony never takes so much as a millisecond off, and because she sees everything, this teabagger woman takes a picture of herself in front of a flag holding a semi-automatic assault rifle and gripping the Bible. And then lo and behold, because the goddess of irony just does not like having her little ironic nose tweaked, it turns out that there's a picture of a jihadi girl from Iraq or Syria or wherever, and granted, she's got the headgear on. But
more flair.
Yeah, but she's, lo and behold, standing in front of a flag, holding a semi-automatic assault rifle, gripping the Koran for all it's worth, and she's even got the same self-satisfied, smug smirk on her face.
Yes, sir.
Oh, what a winner! I mean,
all praise the goddess.
Somebody sacrifice a rubber chicken to the goddess of irony, would you? And of course, she immediately found out about it. This little wingnut did, and so she immediately said, "Oh, is this how we played the false comparison game?" And puts up a picture of Barack No, stop. I'll lose you if you start now. You won't make it, Brother Albert. So she puts up a picture of Barack Obama holding out his right hand while wearing an academic gown for addressing a commencement exercise. You know, purple velvet gown, you know, and he's got his right arm out, you know, waving to people. And next to it, she puts a black and white photo of, you know, the little guy that we don't mention with the Charlie Chaplin mustache doing his special salute all stiff-armed. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be the same thing if both of them were holding were holding a Bible and an assault weapon and standing in front of a flag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying.
I hope, and this is just meanness on my part, Brother Albert, I hope the Get a Brain Morans guy reproduced, and I hope through the miraculous workings of the goddess of irony that one of the Get a Brain Morans kids marries one of this woman's kids, and we'll have some sort of
Frito.
Well, I was going to say we'll have the anti-Kwisatz Haderach, but yeah, that's Frito.
Yeah.
That's Frito Pendejo.
Or Doritos.
Yeah.
And then my kid Doritos. Then my grandpa Dorito named me Frito. My sister Lay's.
Cy Phyllis.
The goddess of irony is always working. And, you know, I think if it even gets us too. You know, she'll get us. She's not, you know, but I think she just takes special joy. And, you know, like, you had to fold space-time in order to kind of come together, because we have made that comparison many times. That, you know, the extremist, you know, Islamo people and the extremist Jews and the extremist Christians are the same. Fundamentalists are fundamentalists no matter what they call their God,
right.
No matter what they call their book, they're always the same. And, oh, hell no. No, yes, no, you're the same. You know, you want to burn gay people. You want to sit here and subjugate women. What's the difference? What's the difference? I mean, there's no difference here.
Right.
And I just, you know, I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. And I think when these things, you know, this is the mask. That mask is going bye-bye. And we're going to win. We are going to win. The generation, you know, I don't know why, but, you know, a lot of youth talk to me. And I ask them lots of questions. And I cannot believe how inspired they make me for the future, how optimistic I am over it. Because none of them, you know, gay marriage is it.
Well, it was just last night that we had the clip of the oxymoron bemoaning the fact that young men, for some reason or another, don't want to deny women access to contraception. And, of course, Limbaugh's only answer for it is, and that's because they think it will get them sex. Or maybe, just maybe, Brother Albert, they're not quite the godforsaken barbarians that, you know, Limbaugh is, who keeps his wife in a pit.
Yeah, well, why can't they go to the Dominican Republic like everyone else?
Yeah. I mean, you drop by the doctors, you get the illicit script for the illicit Viagra, which is probably, well, if it was under your name, it'd be
covered in insurance.
Right. Or maybe, you know, maybe you've got that little push-button penile implant back. God! You know, where you reach back there and there's a button on the taint and you go...
Yeah, the pump. Yes, sir.
Does that thing come with speakers? Yeah.
Hey, you know, I mean, I think men should get that just if they need it, and women should get what they need, and I don't think it's none of our business. And, you know, I was listening to, I was actually at Eden Soy. You want to talk about a company that put that earthed up Eden Soy. You don't realize who your customers are, do you, dummy? You don't realize, do you, Eden Soy? Now, personally, I don't eat soy because I'm a male, and I don't need any, you know, progesterone or whatever the soy gives you, you know, and so I don't eat it. But I definitely, I mean, the stores I shop on carry it. I don't think they're going to be carrying it anymore. And I think there's going to be some shelf space. So anybody out there with some soybeans and a progressive bent, hey, the market's opening up for you. You know, make something. Make some toasted soybean milk or whatever, and you know, keep your politics off the cover, and you'll do fine. You know, in fact, yeah, maybe a little progressive politics. You know, give you a boost in sales because that's what you're selling to. You know, at least pretend you care about things. Obama, get all bedrooms. And then, you know, I don't know if you saw it. I think it was Slate. She interviewed the guy. Did you read that interview?
Oh, no, Salon.
Salon, yes. So, I'm sorry, I get them all kind of mixed up after a while. But yeah.
Because I'm a man, number one, and it's really none of my business what women do.
Mm-hmm.
And so then why bother suing? Because I don't care if the federal government's telling me to buy my employees Jack Daniels or birth control. What gives them the right to tell me I have to do that? That's my issue. That's what I object to. And that's the beginning and end of the story. I'm not trying to get birth control out of Rite Aid or Walmart, but don't tell me I got to pay for it. Yeah, because Jack Daniels and contraception are exactly alike.
Yes, exactly. Well, maybe it is for him.
Well, right, yeah.
Whiskey, dude. And that breath, get away from me. You know, I've never had luck with it myself, so, you know, whatever.
No.
I try to steer away from that, but, you know, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, as a guy, you get a good liquor up on it. Anybody got a crane? Where the hell did it go?
Yeah. You know,
he needs to go out of business.
Oh yeah,
because
he's been his bottom line is getting crushed.
Good.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean, and see, that's what I love is the transition and the change. Just right now, is happening so rapidly. It's just constant. Every day, we're getting a little faster. Every day, it's happening a little quicker.
And this Michael Potter guy at Eden Soy. You know, he doesn't even. I mean, it doesn't know the first law of holes. He doubles down because what I read was not my favorite part. My favorite part is I got more interest in good quality long underwear than in birth control pills. Bet you do, Michael.
Yes, sir.
You do.
Yeah. You know, and, you know, real quick before, you know, we got to get going here, you know, I had mentioned it to you, and this is the story, you know, I want to get back to the, you know, because it's the biggest issue that we really do face, and it's energy. And I'm a broken record on it, as you know, and, you know, when we talk about the Tesla and its rapid successes, the opening of the patents with the market for Teslas, you know, I mean, and that's what I mean. Anybody with a brain that sees one of these cars, knows it's gorgeous, and then when they see it go, say, wow, I want to drive that. So now what we need to do is, you know, build the infrastructure up, and what is a more perfect, and I can't believe all the years I've been saying, you know, well, panels on every roof, windmills where applicable, and geothermal for backbone. I just can't believe that. I mean, I didn't come up with the idea, but when you see the idea of solar freaking roadways, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. We need infrastructure. We need jobs. We need energy, and we need durable roads. You know, I haven't heard a single, and if anybody's got it, please bring it up, because I haven't heard a single viable reason to not do this yet. You know, I don't want to hear, the money. Get out of here with the money. You don't even know what you're talking about. A, the roads are going to pay us back. B, these panels are getting cheaper and cheaper. The more you manufacture them, the cheaper they get. I mean, you're sitting there, well, what if it's slippery? Well, they have so much traction, they had to tone down how much traction they have.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard them say that asphalt is harder than glass, and I heard this from a quote-unquote science guy. You know, I think his name is Moose Knuckle or something. I don't even know, but he's got it in his brain that asphalt is harder than glass. I mean, you don't know the first thing about the scale of hardness, buddy. There's nowhere near asphalt anywhere near as hard as glass.
No. Brother, Mr. Moose Knuckle apparently thinks Mo, as in the scale of hardness, was one of the Stooges.
I mean, it's just, you know, and then when you talk, it's tempered glass, 2 inches thick, I mean, the little raised bumps are just a beautiful concept that is going to reduce hydroplaning. And now you factor this in with the wireless transmission of energy from the road to the highway, to the car, which is, what Stanford did regarding, and they designed it around the Tesla. And if you ever look at that, I'm telling you right now, Google Stanford wireless highway. The first thing you'll see is the Stanford, discussing this wireless highway system where they can just, put little transmitters in the road that transmit to the cars and fills the battery as you drive down the road. And if you look on the computer, you'll see that's a Tesla S. And if you look at the date, you'll see that it's 2011. That's before the Tesla S was even released. So people are, people that matter and have brains and have vision are putting, just like the goddess of irony, is, mowing the path in front of these jihadists of all stripes to show their similarities. People, with that we need, the intelligent folks in the world, they're paving that path too. And, you come up with an idea like solar freaking roadways, it's just brilliant. What about ice? Well, does ice build up on your back window when you put your rear defroster on? That's the thing is ice doesn't take much to melt. It just needs to be a few degrees above freezing, and it melts. That's why we're having such problems in the Arctic. That's why the friggin' ice caps and the glaciers are all retreating.
Funny how that happens, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. And you're going, ice is cold. And yeah, ice is cold, but you get it a little warm, and it's not cold anymore, and it's back to water. And, it's just, I see that idea, and it's just brilliant to me. And, I mean, we build roads out of asphalt. We build them every 2 years. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now you sit there, you think about the safety features that cars are coming with. They're essentially, new cars are doing more driving for you than you even realize. And it's only going to continue. It's only going to continue to the point to where I can, I think one day I'll step out, I'll go to my Tesla or whatever, maybe XE or E or Z or whatever it's going to be, and I'm going to say, car, take little Leto to the swimming pool, bring him back at 4:30. And he's going to get in the car, and the car's going to take him to the swimming pool and bring him back at 4:30. I see a future where that's easily possible because the technology's here now. And as we all see, when we first started talking, goodness gracious, could you imagine what the Samsung Galaxy S5 would have cost back 10 years ago? And now look at it. Yeah, it's still not, it's not pennies, but goodness gracious, everybody can get one.
No, it's like what you said earlier about back when having 6 megs of RAM of memory was huge. Only $2,099. $2,999,999. I mean, and it is. When we look at graphene, in the reality of these people, whoa, coal. Well, the reality is we haven't even entered the age of carbon yet. The age of carbon is really going to be an amazing place, and it's going to be once we can get these people to stop dragging their feet, and I implore everybody, when you see someone dragging their feet, go kick them in the shins. Don't let them pollute the minds of people who really aren't active. There's no getting around it, Brother Albert. It is happening. It really, really is happening. I guess some more heads will be exploding soon because those commies over at Apple have just purchased space for another 100-acre solar farm to run their data center in North Carolina, Stan. So that's that much less coal-fired energy. And why would you? Coal-fired energy is so expensive now. Why wouldn't you just spend the money on the front end on something you're never going to have to pay for again? Why wouldn't?
Exactly.
If you're a capitalist, why wouldn't you do that? When Walmart, for God's sakes, evil freaking sells posters, sells inspirational posters of Arbeit macht frei. Walmart, now that's real. When Walmart says, "Hey, we're going to get off the grid. Fuck the grid. We got a lot of flat roof out there, and we're going to put up a lot of solar panels."
No.
Why wouldn't you? Why?
Well, Brother Bob, when Elon Musk, right, less is coming and going, when Elon Musk says in 20 years solar will be the majority production of energy in the world, I'm going to believe him. He took that bet. I believe him. If that man says that that's what's going to be, when you look at his track record, you have to believe him. When I sit here and I look, and this is my new little thing. I do a lot of reading in terms of investment. That's what I kind of spend a lot of my time doing if I'm not with my son or what have you. I read this little bit and it's just stuck in my head. Once I read this little quote, I just went, holy cow, this is insane. This is exactly what we've been talking about. Between the years of 1996 and 2006, BP, Shell, and Exxon, the three largest oil companies, hence the three largest companies, most profitable companies in the history of this, of our society and civilization, they spent a total of $260 billion on extraction and discovery, okay, combined. Between 2006 and today, they've spent $2.7 trillion. We peaked in 2006. Mm-hmm. We will never see that level again. Our days of oil are over. They have spent $2.7 trillion, trillion with a T, on discovery and extraction. They don't even realize that their little monkey paw is wrapped around the nuts, and the noose is around their neck, and both hands, they got their feet and hands and jaws wrapped around nuts, and they're freaking out.
Yep.
Their days are over.
And it's just, okay. Here's the part where the reasoning falls apart for me. You're the CEO of ExxonMobil, mm-hmm. and you're getting paid Starship money mm-hmm. for basically breathing out and breathing in. There's mm-hmm. not a bricklayer works a lot harder than the CEO of ExxonMobil. Okay? Any one of our, within the Horn family commune congregation, any one of our union carpenters or pipe fitters or laborers or electricians or teamsters work 1,000,000 times harder than the CEO of ExxonMobil. So I'm saying the CEO of ExxonMobil probably has some time just to sit around doing the whole Winnie the Pooh, paw against the noggin, thinking thing. Mm. At some point, if you're that guy, do you not think, hey, we just spent $2.7 trillion on exploration. Why don't we sink a little money into a factory that manufactures solar panels and wind turbines? Why don't we do that? Mm-hmm. I mean, we're in the energy business. That's energy. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the Dom Rosso who thinks that self-defense can only be accomplished with a gun. It ain't energy if it's not. It ain't energy if we didn't drill it or blast it or scrape it or pipe it or frack it out of the earth. That ain't it. Mm-hmm. That's some of that sissy communist energy that can't make any money.
Which is. Yeah, I mean, it's just so short-sighted to, they have no ground. They haven't had ground for years. And the fact of the matter is their sources of inspiration are gone. I mean, you know it as well as I do. Every time they say that we've got X amount of years left of something, they're overestimating. You remember back when we talked about Saudi Arabia, said, oops, and this was in 2006, I believe. They came out and said, we overestimated our reserves by, 5%? 3%? No, 50%. 50%? What? You have 50% less than you thought you did?
Yeah, because the genius mathematicians there didn't take into account expanding usage. It's the same thing with the coal industry. West Virginia's got, and I mean, this is within living memory. West Virginia's got 500 years of coal left in the ground. 10 years later, you know what? We don't have to worry about nothing. West Virginia's got 250 years of coal in the ground. 5 years later, that's all right, because we got 100 years of coal left in the ground. Our ciphering and gazetted department done told us so.
We've got 5 years left. We're five.
Meanwhile, my congressman, poor old Nick Rahal, didn't get the memo, so a couple of years ago he gets himself in the deep doo-doo, as George H.W. Bush once said, and says, well, we got to face facts, fellas. We got 25 years of coal left. and the entire coal industry said, do not! Which is probably true. It's more like 10.
Yeah.
I drive. I can drive from, say, Summersville, West Virginia, to here, or maybe from I-79 to here, and you go through these cuts in the mountains because road building in West Virginia is no easy task, and blasting has its place in the world.
Yes, it does.
Because if you tried to build a limited access 4-lane rapid movement highway that just went up and down every mountain in West Virginia, well, we tried that once. You don't get much of a highway. It's more of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But you can go through these cuts in the mountains, and you'll see these seams of coal that are at the tops of the mountains, and there's no mistaking that it's coal. It's not slate. It's coal. It's really coal. And some coal executive drives by there and they go, God damn it, I'm going to get that one of these days. And it's probably $1.29 worth of coal right there.
Yeah, I hear you.
But Brother Albert, it's 6 inches thick. Okay, that's what's left in Appalachia. 6-inch thick seams of coal.
Oh, and then they want to make gas out of it. They can't stop thinking of ways. They want to put it in bread. They can't stop thinking of ways that we can use more of it.
Right, it's a floor wax. It's a dessert topping.
Clean coal. Yeah, it's going to be clean coal because there's none left. No, I think we have. There's probably plenty around.
But let's look at the opposite side of that coin real quick, just for a second. And this is the part that just bugs the hell out of me. On the one hand, the coal industry is going to go until there's nothing to get.
Yep.
And they're gonna leave in the dark in the still of the night like a John trying to stiff his.
They're junkies.
Yeah. So
they're junkies.
And we're and we're gonna be the people who wake up sticky, broken, confused, as Sam Kinison once said.
Yep.
But here's the deal. The coal industry will take what they can get, and when it's all gone, they'll sneak out. The next morning, when we wake up sticky, broken, confused, there are certain people whose job it is to claim that they are fighting the coal industry who will say, hey, look, they're gone. Son of a bitch, we won. You declare victory. You declare victory when there's no, when there's nothing, there's no field of battle left.
Yeah.
And I want to win before they do. I don't want to say, hey, look at all the devastation. We won.
We're winning, Brother Bob. It's just, just the economics of it are, in 2 years, what they're projecting, and trust me when I tell you, I read this stuff constantly. I read oil stuff. I read oil stuff. I read coal stuff. I just read that stuff out of interest, not that I'm going to invest in it. But I read it because the real information is contained, you're not going to get it onto the TV, you're going to get it in their financial disclosures. When fracking companies are losing their ass constantly, they have to sell, the only way they're making profits is when they sell a rig. They're not making profits off gas. They're losing their ass on this stuff. The shale, we're projecting the Eagle Shale, the Bakken Shale to be done by 2016, 2017. That's a real long ways away, ain't it? We got a surplus, but that's the beauty of fracking. It's not a well, it's not a reserve. It's it's like the liquor that sticks to the bottle after you poured the last shot. You let it sit for an hour. That's fracking. No, look, we got one more shot left, boys. Let's have a party. That's not, like their supplies are gone. Their economic model is destitute. The fact is that renewables are, without question, cheaper and better and cheaper and better and cheaper and better, and it's every few weeks. If you don't believe me, go look. Just look at this stuff. Look at it. When we sit there and we look, 2 years, they're projecting 28 cents per watt solar PV. 28 cents per watt. That's cheaper. It's so ridiculously cheap, it's not even funny. It's too cheap to not use. You mean as we sit right now, everybody probably listening to the Horn Family, we're all the cutting edge, by the way, if you didn't realize it yet. Yes, you are.
You're listening to radio in the future.
Yeah, exactly. We all, I mean, you sit there, I don't know what you pay for electricity. I know what I pay. It's about $200 a month. Okay, and I try to make conservative. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, well, the pole keeps the lights on. But, I purchase wind credits. I do this, I do that, and I don't mind. We budgeted for it. That's what we get. However, $200 a month, 5 years, I can pay off a solar system. 28 cents a watt, Yeah, I mean, most of it is going into paying somebody to do it. That's really where most of the cost is going. Panels are like the smallest cost right now. It's paying somebody to do it is what costs the money. Paying an electrician, because they got to hook that up and they got to put you a new box in. They got to hook that, inverter up and all that other stuff. So, that's usually the biggest hunk right now, and it's going to become ubiquitous. I mean, you get the tax credit, everything else. I don't want to tell you what I see some people paying for solar systems in the right states. I really don't, because you're going to go. Why don't I have that? And it's what's actually what's twisted. What is twisted about the biggest tax rebate for buying a Tesla is in West Virginia.
Huh?
Yeah. I just thought of that. Remembered that. The biggest tax chunk rebate, you get a green car rebate and then you do your taxes, is in West Virginia.
Wow.
That made me go. But that's just what I'm saying. I think we're going to see it.
Should we add a Tesla to the Kickstarter campaign instead of the Maybach?
Yeah. Oh man, are you crazy?
I only say that because this evening. This evening, Anthony and Randy are the only ones who have jumped in on the $300 hole we've got, and we've already got spinning rims, masseurs, masseuses, cabana boys. Payment on the Gulfstream 5 is due. I don't know. Maybe it's too ambitious. No, all kidding aside. If we had a real staff here, we'd have a marketing pro who would be reaching out to Tesla Motors and saying, "Listen, no money need change hands. Here's a program that's been advocating solar and clean renewable energy for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we do a little swap? Because he's already given you tons of free advertising. Lease on a Tesla, banner ad, And I've said, we don't take any advertising. It's all listener supported, and that would remain true because there's no money changing hands.
Yeah.
But you know what? I remain convinced, Brother Albert, that, and by the way, I got to tell you, Marty pointed out something. He said, from the Tesla wreck story and all of that. He said, so what the real story is, the cops couldn't catch him. A better driver is still going. But,
that is true.
But I was on a road last weekend when we went up to the drive-in movie theater. It runs from approximately Arnoldesburg, West Virginia, to Harrisville, West Virginia. And a million years ago, I was told somewhere that one of the big car magazines said that it was one of the most challenging, fun sports car driving roads in the country. And when you see car ads, it's somebody driving around in Marin County or over one of those the Royal Gorge Bridge in Colorado. No. West Virginia, where sustainable energy was concerned, West Virginia God made West Virginia to train the faithful. And so we need we've got no solar charging stations, we got no superchargers. We need to just put it to the test. How will this hold up in the brutal road conditions that are West Virginia? I think if we had somebody who would do that, they would bite. I do. And yes, I want a Tesla, okay? I mean, can I just say that? I want a Tesla. I'm shameless about it. Howdy, folks, I'm Bob, and I just wanted to tell you how much I'm enjoying. You realize that General Motors did that a few years ago. They gave like year leases to a whole bunch of right-wing gas bags to talk favorably about their automobiles. Yeah, it's not like it's unheard of. The only difference being money had to change hands because you had to convince Rush Limbaugh that he really did want to be in a Cadillac. Instead of a Maybach, right?
In Triadelphia, West Virginia, there is a supercharger station.
That's true, and that's way up in the northern panhandle. That's almost not West Virginia.
Well, soon, Brother Bob. Soon. I just, I wanted to look because you had said that, and it looks on the map. Yeah, there's a few. We have a few in Wisconsin, and more are going to be built constantly. And, it will be a ubiquitous thing all of a sudden. I mean, I've never seen it.
No, Elon Musk is going to single-handedly change the culture. But the thing is, I watched that interview that Chris Hayes did with him a couple of weeks back, and it was really inspiring. But at the same time, there was some line in there about
cautious.
Well, about how if everything went perfectly, it's still going to be eons before we've made the transition away from the gasoline engine.
Well,
I want to think and this is that dangerous word, believe. I want to believe there's a way for that to happen faster.
Well, but that was before he opened his patents.
No, it wasn't. That was after.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was like the next week he released the patents.
No, because they talked about it.
Oh, did they? All right, well. Yeah.
But I think that is a game changer.
It is a game changer. And I think, let's see, Nissan Renault, of course, what's his name, Gozen. He's another one that has good vision. But, you're going to see. I mean, Ford, GM, they're going to sit there and do this because this stuff is already easy. And everyone's going to want, who doesn't want it? It's going to basically be,
time out. I had someone tell me last Saturday, I wouldn't drive an electric car if you give me one.
Okay. And then when I just absolutely, peel your paint off as I pass you and make you feel even more inferior, you're going to go, what in the hell was that? You don't have to. You could be stubborn.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy your internal combustion engine, and especially enjoy when it gets to that point. Enjoy your $25 a gallon gas while I'm charging up my automobile for what 75 cents a night.
Free
if solar.
Yeah.
There's the sun again. Doot-and-doo-doo.
I mean, really. It's the same with these rolling coal idiots. Or you're going to protest by polluting your air and water and burning more fuel than your engine, was designed for. That's how you're going to protest. You're going to, in diesel, because diesel is the cheapest fuel there is, right? You're going to blow up, you're going to ruin your engine. You're going to destroy that, big expense. Diesel is the expensive truck. I give you that to them. It is. A lot of torque, all that stuff, but you're just ruining it. It wasn't designed to run like that. And when they start running like that, that's when you have to rebuild, no?
Yeah.
That's when it's time for an overhaul. You got to clean everything.
I remember those early '80s Mercedes-Benz sedans, like the 300D and the 300 SD. I had a used 300 SD once upon a time, and you started it up, and it would belch those black clouds of smoke, and that's why we got rid of it. But the thing is, they were 5-cylinder engines. God only knows what the timing pattern is on that. But it was extremely efficient. Huge cars, got great mileage. Got out of the hole like a 90-year-old on a walker. But still, the other thing was, it was a 500,000-mile engine.
Yep.
So that was you were looking at a rebuild at 500,000 miles instead of 250,000 or 200
or 80.
Or 80.
Those guys doing that rolling coal, that's crazy excessive. That's ridiculous. You can't. If they did that to you and you're driving behind them, you wouldn't be able to see. You can't see through it.
No.
What I'm
getting at is, there was an argument for them. But the thing is, and this is another case of America lagging behind science. If you ask within the European Union about ultrafine particulate matter and diesel,
Yep.
because see, at one point the EU hung a lot of hopes on so-called clean diesel and biodiesel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bless his heart, Willie got into biodiesel.
Yep.
And as an alternative, straight up apples to apples, as an alternative to petroleum, it's a good idea. But the problem is the science caught up with them, and no matter how much you clean up the visible emissions from diesel, the things are still pumping out these ultrafines. And I'm talking about the really nifty VW Passats with the TDI.
TDI, yeah.
I mean, it's not even like driving a diesel car anymore. I mean, it accelerates like a gas car, everything, but it's still pumping the atmosphere full of these ultrafines. They know this in the EU now. And the shine has come off of diesel as a salvation against the cost of gasoline and even biodiesel. We're miles behind that because even the EPA, the terrifying monster that is the EPA, according to the right wing, it's going to eat up your civilization and kill all your jobs and rape your dog. Even their standard for particulate matter is pathetic. You get PM10, which is huge, relatively speaking, and then PM2.5, which is considerably smaller. But the shit that's doing all the damage, Brother Albert, is less than 100 microns, between 100 microns and 10. Whereas PM2.5 is 250 microns. PM10 is 1,000.
I just believe, and I just, everything I read, everything I see, the transition will be, I'm more optimistic than Elon Musk even. And I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen very quickly. Even my father-in-law, he's an old, codgy, conservative kind of guy, and he's a good guy. He's a good-hearted person. But I don't know about no electric vehicle. He used to say that to me, we need to drill now and drill. He used to give me that, and then I showed him a few Teslas, and he said, that's a really nice car. Then I showed him what they do, and he said, no kidding, he used to race Saabs. He was like, he used to drive like Saab racing, whatever he used to do. And, anybody who sees a car accelerate like a Tesla, like they do, you get your knuckles get that hollow feeling, and your hands get tingly, and you just get a smile on your face because you know what that torque feels like.
Right.
Anybody who drives that car is going to want that car. And that's why Tesla has sold every single Tesla Model S they've made. Every single one has been sold. There's no lot. The better and better they get.
No Herb Tarlick in the polyester pants and the plaid jacket saying, come on down, I'll sell you a Tesla.
I got them in every color. But they are fighting.
Oh, yeah.
You know that. And Elon Musk, he said, when I go to the, I don't go to it, I listen to the shareholder meetings. He said, we are not going to make any money on service. That's like us. We don't do that. That's wrong. And if you look at any time, what about the time it set on fire? Well, yeah, they set on fire, and then what they do? They upgraded everyone's Tesla. They actually, after that came out, they sent out an over-the-air update to lower the car a little, to stop it. Then every Tesla this, and you can bring yours in. You get this like ballistic cover on the bottom of your car if you want, and then all the new ones are made that way. That's that kind of response in a car company. Yeah, they're small right now, but goodness gracious, that's called business. That's smart. Not what GM does.
Capitalism.
So you would think. It's not, they sit there and they, GM what they, how can you...
Yeah, but, Chrysler and Ford and GM are sitting there with 10 years' worth of back-ordered inventory of buggy whips going, but we got to sell the buggy whips.
Yeah, we got to sell the buggy whips. But your buggy whips are disengaging from the transmission, and it's making the cars in neutral, if you're driving down the road, if you're going in reverse, or if it's parked. What was the latest recall? How many vehicles?
8.4 million, wasn't it?
I mean, what? Seriously? That's nuts. That's crazy. How can you buy that? I can't buy into that. I mean, I do like the folks. I respect that.
I don't think I'm incorrect on this, Brother Albert. Mm-hmm. Did you notice what was not included in the recall?
Yeah.
The Chevy Volt.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well, I mean, when you sit here and you think about, like I just had to get rid of a car and get a new one here because, it literally fell apart. There's too many systems in it. There's too many things to go wrong. Think about how many systems are in an engine. And then you wonder, of course they're only going to ever hit 35%. Oh, no, Albert, they hit 37.8% efficiency. Yeah, okay. Well, Bob and I can put an electric motor in my garage that hit 90 pretty easy. We can hand coil that thing. No, you couldn't. Oh, well, test us. It's not a hard thing for an electric motor to hit high efficiencies. I can't wait to see the day where we actually take those superconductors like you see in an MRI machine. When you got graphene, which is you start dropping that temperature in that graphene, you don't have to get it too cold. You just have to have it sitting in a little bit of refrigerated fluid, like in an MRI machine, those donuts. And I want to see the axle of the actual motor itself suspended, no friction. Then all you do is you add a little current. Think about that for a second. You see what I'm saying here?
Oh, yeah.
Come on now. That's what we need. That's the kind of innovations that we're going to see coming down the pipeline. And besides the fact that, our wives could actually literally change an engine in a Tesla. Undo the leads, unbolt the bolts, lift it out. It's 70 pounds. I mean, when you start thinking about how simple and how little maintenance a vehicle like this needs, then the battery packs can be swapped out. You can swap out 2 battery packs in the time it takes you to get one car filled with gas. 2 battery packs in one. I mean, so and that battery pack is like almost take that battery pack and reuse everything in it. The battery pack is primarily graphite, the starters, and then secondly, which is carbon, and which we can also use to make graphene and so on and so forth, and da-da-da-da-da. And then you got lithium ions, which can be recycled forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And the more we use these things, the faster we get them, the lighter they become. It's just the cheaper they're going to get. We're really, literally, we've already jumped over the cliff. We're headed down, headed up, whatever way you want to look at it. We're going. It's over. Their oil days are over. Our electric, we're not going to tolerate for not traveling. Come on, we all know this. You're not going to tolerate not communicating.
Right, and we're not going to willingly go into be some sort of Firefly world where there are spaceships that land on planets that are still pulling crap around behind mules. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, one last observation, and you'll get a kick out of this. Tony noted on my Facebook page the picture of the right-wing doofus lady next to the jihadi woman. And he said, "Oh, and by the way, the woman on the right could kick the ass of the woman on the left." Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'll give I'll give big odds on jihadi lady.
Yeah, but I wonder which one's more of a believer.
Oh no, I know who the bigger believer is. She lives in Charleston, West Virginia.
Yes.
Interestingly, she complains on her Facebook page about that Obamacare done took away all my baby's heart doctors, and he's got 2 heart defects. And then it turns out she's not even enrolled in an Obamacare plan. Oops.
Your baby has 2 heart defects, and that's a tragedy. And I'm sorry for her.
I am too. And I am too. She is another mother living in the sacrifice zone. I'm sure. Being a right winger, I'm sure she's more than happy to tell you, "Co keeps the lights on."
They don't even.
That's the heartbreaking part of this. It's not just the tree huggers babies who are being birth defected. It's not just tree huggers who are dying early from heart disease and cancer and and various disorders of the genitourinary system and pulmonary disorders. No. It's happening to everybody, but some of them, like the coal rollers, are saying, I want more poison. And it's disgusting.
It's like Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Brother Albert, this has been a magnificent conversation. We ought to just title this program, Brother Albert's Visit to the Future.
Oh, Brother Bob, thank you very much. I'm, sorry we don't talk more. I'll try to get in as much as I can. Thanks for having me, and it's great talking to you. I miss you very much.
Well, we missed you too.
Let's start to Star Trek.
Onward into the future.
Engage. All right, Brother Bob. Be good.
Wait. Make it so. Wait. Yeah. Make it so, number one. Okay. Had to do
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Later. Many obligatory Star Trek references in tonight's conversation with Brother Albert. Thanks to Brother Albert for the time. He is indeed the sage of Southwest Wisconsin.